I'm back with some crime reacts. We got a Dr. Insanity video here. A detective tricks guilty suspect in confession. Chat, don't be doing that dirt, bro. You're either going to be locked up or be put in jail. W raid. I appreciate the raid, Crims. Appreciate the raid. But yeah, bro, don't be doing that dirt, chat. The world's already bad enough. You don't need to be putting more bad into it yourself. So yeah. Appreciate the raid. What's up, Walkie?
Where is she?
I don't know where she is.
Where is Savannah?
No. Where did you go with her? I know you're not that cruel inside. I'm begging you, Lee. Just tell us.
I don't know where she is.
This is Lee Rodarte, a man taken into custody for being suspected of kidnapping and killing his co-worker, Savannah Gold.
Oh
With
my
no
gosh.
ideas of where Savannah could be, the cops knew getting this interrogation wrong could mean they might never catch the killer. What's even worse is that Lee had a foolproof story that was going to make sure
Foolproof story, hey? Let's see.
Savannah was never to be found. Lee, however, is under the impression that he is smarter than the detectives. Little did he know, this would be a massive mistake for him. On the 2nd of August 2017, Savannah's family received text messages stating she was running away and quitting her job. The messages were riddled with errors, causing her family to panic and report her as missing immediately. Throughout the investigation,
See, that's one thing that, like, these killers do, bro. Like, obviously, when they maybe they might not even, like, have done it yet, but they get a hold of the victim's phone, and they just start messaging people, yeah, I'm leaving, so it looks like they left, you know what I mean? But it's usually, lots of the time when that happens, it's, like, out of the blue, or, like, they go missing, like, you don't hear from them, and then there's weird texts, but if you know the person personally, you know they wouldn't be moving like that, you know? So it's obviously, there's some, like, foul play.
the police were grasping at straws until they were suddenly sent the CCTV footage.
Technology, bro. Technology is getting better and better. Oh my gosh, bro. All these cameras, you know, they can track your phone through, like, your phone cell, like, through the, like, phone signal, the cell signal. Bro, unless you got no technology tied down to whatever crime you're doing, bro, they can track it straight. They can track you.
From the Bonefish Grill where Savannah worked, the video shows her getting into a silver car in the parking lot before it began to shake violently, with the door being thrust open and pulled shut 3 times.
Nah. Whose car was it? Was it the guy, like, was it like, I'm just thinking of what the situation could have been. Was it like, okay, maybe Savannah doesn't have a ride home, so she's like, oh, can you give me a lift? She pulls up in his car, then he goes crazy and just strangles her. Or maybe maybe that could be her car, and this guy's waiting in it, and then when she gets in, you know, just strangles her and stuff.
The car then drove out of the parking lot, and Savannah was never seen again. After a
Yeah, that's, bro, from that, you know it's foul play. That doesn't just happen. This car starts shaking, and then the door swings open, and then someone shuts it, like no.
series of interviews, they discovered the car was identical to Lee Rodarte's, a manager at the grill, and
I knew, bro, she was probably thinking, she was probably just getting a lift. Like home or something. Bro.
boyfriend to Savannah for around 2 months. Lee was immediately arrested on suspicion.
Oh nah. So that's the manager, and they were dating for 2 months?
Manager at the grill and boyfriend to Savannah for around 2 months.
See, this is one thing, chat. Don't be piece of advice. I know people are going to do it anyways. But piece of advice from me. Don't date someone at your workplace, bro. You know, there are those fairy tale stories, co-workers falling in love, and then it's happily ever after. But majority of the time, it's not like that. And then it gets weird because you got to see this person 5 days a week at work. You know, not good. Don't mix that. Don't mix it together. Don't start dating co-workers. For your own sake, bro.
Months. Lee was immediately arrested on suspicion of murder and brought into the interrogation room. However, he was told by police it was for an unimportant traffic warrant. And that's when the following happened.
That's smart, bro. These detectives are too smooth.
Have a seat for me real quick. I'll be right back.
Because he's gonna come and chill, because it's like, oh, it's just traffic warrants. But if immediately they start talking about, oh, have you heard of the disappearance of her? He'll be like, you know what I mean? He'll be on edge.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Being told the detective will be right back obviously implies to Lee that he won't have to wait long to be seen. But it'd actually be 90 minutes before anyone enters the room again. Only a few days ago, Lee was interviewed about the disappearance of a girl he kidnapped, and now he's been handcuffed and taken into a police interrogation room.
How old was she? 20. She was 21. He's 28. I don't know. 21, 28? I know, like, lots of our parents have giant age gaps, bro. 10 years, over 10 years. But usually that's, like... I feel like age gaps, bro. I feel like... Once you hit your 30s, past 30s, it doesn't really matter. Because by that time, you're probably established and you're probably matured by then. You know, normally. But a 21-year-old and a 28-year-old, I don't feel like that's good looks.
Lee will be feeling incredibly anxious.
But hey, they're both adults, so, yeah.
Now, but remember, he's confident that there's no way the cops have enough evidence to take him down. But unfortunately for him, the facade the detectives put up is all about to be ripped away.
Hey, man.
How you doing, buddy?
Good, good. You remember me from the other day? Detective Reeves? Okay. This is my partner, Detective Staley.
The
Buddy
detective
got a
that
bow tie.
enters isn't the same one that brought him in. It's the one who interviewed him about Savannah 3 days prior.
Oh.
Any comfort he found in thinking this was all unrelated has now been completely taken away and replaced with pure panic. But Lee's plan remains the same, so he tries to keep himself composed as he prepares for the onslaught of questions.
Bro, these are the mind games, bro. The mind games. The detect. Bro, you gotta be so smart to be a detective, bro.
He's about to be hit with.
So, Savannah, you said that you knew her and you guys had, you knew her from work. I mean, just kind of fill me in with that. How long have you known her?
Like I said, I've known her obviously since she started working there. I would say probably about 8 months ago, we started hanging out outside of work. And at the time, I had a girlfriend. But I kind of, we kind of connected, me and Savannah.
So what, he cheated on his girl with Savannah?
We hung out a little bit here and there, got pretty close. We come from, I guess, somewhat similar back.
He a red flag, bro. But obviously obviously we know you're a red flag. He murdered this girl, but you got a whole girlfriend and you're out here getting close with another girl from work. That's bad looks.
Backgrounds, I guess you should say.
The question Lee was given was, how long have you known Savannah? A question that surely merits a fairly simple answer.
Yeah, he's like nervous because he's like going on these tangents of like, my girlfriend, he just asked how, yeah, bro, like what?
Hit with a question like this, people who have nothing to hide keep their responses short, taking the questions at face value. But people who feel pressured will usually extend their answers to questions in an effort to seem as though they know what they're talking about. Something Lee will fall victim to.
Yeah.
So we kind of connected, hung out for
No one asked that, bro. He just asked how long you guys knew each other.
a little while. I'd probably say a period of 2-3 months.
Okay.
And then
But this is what the detective wants, bro, because the more they talk, the more chance like there is of them slipping up and like messing up their story.
she started using drugs a lot. I did them with her a couple times, and then she started to get heavy into them. And
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
so I kind of just tried to take a step back and, put things off. And then probably a month or so ago, I saw Savannah at work, and she looked healthy again. She gained a little bit of weight.
Okay.
We kind of were talking, here and there. We hung out a couple times. She came over to the house, and we just kicked back, drank a couple beers, watched movies, stuff like that.
In total, Lee spoke for over 5 minutes in response to a single simple question.
Bro, that's crazy. Bro, the psychology behind like being a detective, you need to have great psychology skills.
Going so far as to detail specific encounters between the pair. Now that the detectives have even more reason to suspect that he may be hiding something, they decide to call him out on something small to gauge his reaction. In the first interview, Lee had told investigators he hadn't seen Savannah in a while. But if the CCTV footage is to be believed, this is a bold-faced lie.
And then as we hung out, after a couple of times, she brought drugs over. I told her, I was like, you're doing really good. You can't, you shouldn't be doing it again. I think we moved too
Oh, Mr. Nice Guy over here trying to look out for you. You shouldn't do that.
fast.
This guy, bro.
Ways.
Right. Yeah.
And that was the last time that we text.
Okay.
When was that?
Yeah.
When was that?
It was probably 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Sometime in July.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things you said was that was the last time that you had contact with her.
Yes.
As far as, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I mean you correct me.
That was
at
the
any
last time that I texted her.
Yeah, text or a phone call or a messenger
Yeah.
or anything like that. It was 2 to 3 weeks ago. Yeah. Okay. And then the last time, when was the last time you saw her?
This is what I was a bit. I didn't tell you the truth when we talked about
He knows, they know.
fish.
Okay.
Last time I saw her was Wednesday afternoon.
Okay.
Is that correct
I
with the
heard
thing?
that she has been basically telling a lot of people at work that we hooked up a bunch, like a couple of days before that. So I met her in the parking lot at Bonefish
When's this?
Wednesday afternoon.
Okay. Well, do you know what time or about?
It was about 5:30.
Okay.
Without realizing it, Lee has already provided us with enough evidence to assume he's guilty. We know he knew Savannah. He had the same vehicle seen in the footage, and he was present at the scene of the crime when it happened. Remember, Lee has no idea the cops have footage of the event.
Dang. Bro. Why don't people think of cameras, bro? It's everywhere. There are certain places where you can, like, it's way easier to, like, escape, like, get away with crime and that. And that's, like, maybe very rural areas. Like, there's some rural areas, bro. Like, this is a thing all across the world. And it could be, like, hours, like, maybe 3 hours to, like, the closest police station, for instance. And they don't have the same infrastructure out there as well in, like, rural places. You can get away with a lot of crap, right? But a place like this, cameras everywhere, especially businesses. That's a big one. Businesses, because businesses only have cameras. Why don't you think, bro? These people are so dumb. Like, so dumb. And legit, you committed the crime with your car at her workplace. And everyone knows that your car looks like that. Like, come on, bro.
If he knew about it, he would have tried to provide an alibi that put him somewhere completely different. Unfortunately, though, this isn't quite enough evidence for the cops to get a guaranteed conviction. Instead, they need to push further to try and extract a full confession. Something that will not come easy at all.
I parked and I said, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" And she said, "Yeah, what's up?" And I was like, "I heard you've been saying some things about me and you continuing to hang out, and that we're boyfriend and girlfriend." And she asked me, she said, "Can I come sit in the car? Because I just
Sit in the car, it just starts shaking crazy, and then door swings open, someone grabs it, boosh, shut, and then drives off. Really? Alright, let's see.
did some heroin and I'm a little paranoid."
It was never confirmed that Savannah did do heroin. Nobody in her life mentioned seeing or suspecting she used it. And even if she did,
Bro, that's so true. If, like, no one in her life knows that. He could be just saying this. Bro, because she went missing, right? I feel like he's definitely lying about her doing all these drugs and that, because he's saying that to make her seem like she could be, like, unstable because of that. Like, oh yeah, she's been doing drugs, blah blah blah, for his story, make her seem like she's unstable.
she was headed to a shift at her job as this conversation was taking place. If she was able to do that without getting paranoid, it seems strange she couldn't simply have a chat in the parking lot.
So she came and sat in the car, and
Relax,
I
bro.
explained to her the situation. I told her that servers at Bonefish were coming to me and telling me that you're telling people when you're out that we're boyfriend and girlfriend. And I said, I need you to stop, because for one, it's jeopardizing my job. We agreed to, split, stop talking mutually, and just move on.
But yeah, he's obviously capping about this, because this is just his, like, little excuse for her going to the car and stuff. But again, with just don't date coworkers, bro. It just gets messy. It gets messy. You know what I mean? Like, it could still happen, and then if you guys are both mature individuals, bro, you guys could probably move on and keep it professional without spreading rumors or like gossiping and that. But to prevent that, just don't date coworkers, bro. But yeah, let's continue with this.
But it was nothing more than that. And she said, I'm going to do what I want. I didn't tell anybody anything. At that point, I got out and I punctured the hole in the tire. And I said, no, stop. And I said, don't do it again, or next time it's going to be worse. It's going to be your windows. At that point, she had her phone in her hand. She got out of the car and walked towards the main entrance from San Jose.
Obviously, this entire explanation was crafted to try and create an alibi as close as possible to what actually happened. But the few small inaccuracies are actually glaring windows directly
Facts, like, because I'm pretty sure the camera never saw her get out that car and walk away. You know?
into the truth. We know that Savannah never left the vehicle in the parking lot,
Yep.
and that she drove away with him just minutes after getting in. Lee is unwittingly constructing a mountain of evidence against him in the form of lies that he
Bro, this is why you don't let them know what you know. You don't let them know what you know, because then they... Because you just let them, you know, dig themselves a hole by trying to talk themselves out of this with lies. When you already know. And it's not even that they got to give you a full-on, confession on what they did. But them lying about it and making up these other stories just tells you they probably did something bad, you know? Like this right here.
thinks he's getting away with. And he's not finished yet.
And it looked like she was either texting or calling
So
somebody.
goofy, bro. It just takes
because
one
as
camera
she
and you're
started
cooked.
walking towards there's an entrance to the plaza. She was walking maybe towards this way, and I would say an older model Ford pickup, green,
Okay.
drove past me and around, and she got in.
Okay.
She
How long
got
do
in.
you think
She
it
got into
was
a pickup.
between the time that she got out and started using her phone till that green truck pulled up?
Maybe 5
There was
minutes.
no truck.
So wow. So if she called somebody, they got there in 5 minutes to pick her up.
Well, I mean, like I said, it looked like she was going to call somebody, and that's when the green truck came around, and she got in.
So she gets in the truck. What happened at that point?
They drove back around, kind of looped around a little bit.
Which way did they drive?
So I guess they exited that way, and at that point, I left.
Lee doubles down on the lie, again, thinking that this puts him completely in the clear, as he wouldn't have been the last person to see Savannah, but his decisions continue to work against him. Had he decided to stick closer to the truth, he might have been able to argue that he took Savannah somewhere else and then parted ways with her. But without the
Facts, bro. Now you just got a blatant lie. Oh my
knowledge
gosh.
of what police have against him, Lee is left simply guessing and forced to make up stories on the fly. This is why it's so important to call a lawyer, innocent or not. In an interrogation, detectives are allowed to both lie and withhold evidence from you, putting you in a very difficult situation where you're at the mercy of their tactics and games.
Facts, bro. And this is one way people get pressured in talking. For example, like if they are guilty of doing something and they're trying to like lie about an escape. Sometimes people think like, oh, if I just say, oh, I don't want to speak, I want to call a lawyer. They think them doing that makes them seem like they're guilty, because in their mind they're thinking, if I wasn't guilty, why would I need a lawyer? So with that mindset, they're like, I'm not gonna ask for a lawyer. I'm gonna try to talk myself out of this to make myself look innocent. Because if I just need a lawyer, they might think I'm guilty. When in reality, it's completely fine. You know what I mean? Just call a lawyer. Because even though, like, say you are innocent, bro, you might just say, you know, not the best words, and then you seem guilty. You know, even if you're innocent. But yeah, get a
However,
lawyer.
the second you bring an attorney into the mix, things get exponentially easier, as police are forced to turn over all of the evidence in their possession so they can put together a fair and sound defense for you. Calling a lawyer isn't just having a wingman at the interrogation room. It's an unlocked door that bypasses almost all of the police's tricks. It goes from them interrogating you to a legal battle. But, needless to say, Lee hasn't called a lawyer and has been left at a disadvantage from the beginning. If Lee was as smart as he thinks he is, he wouldn't have waived this right, and likely would be in a much better position.
What happened to your neck?
That was self-inflicted, actually.
Why?
What's on his
I've been
neck?
having kind of a hard time.
Does he?
To your neck?
I
I think that it might be a cut or something on his neck.
couldn't. Yeah, I did. And
What did you use?
a knife.
When did you do that?
Some time in July.
You did that in July and it's still
Yeah.
bloody?
Well, I
Dang. So I'm guessing, I don't remember exactly what time it is, so I'm guessing it's not near July because she says it's still bloody. Bro, so this must have been from that girl fighting. When he dragged her in the car, I'm assuming he probably strangled her or something. That's probably her trying to fight back and clawed at him and stuff. Bro, that's messed up.
kind of peeled the scab here and there at work, hitting it on stuff like that. I peeled it last night working. And it was coming
Bro,
off a little bit
I
today,
wish
so
we could actually see it closer, but we can't really see much with this quality.
I peeled that a little bit.
All right, let me see.
But this and this was the same night. This one was just a lot worse
Yeah.
than this one was.
Okay.
That's probably from
That
her
was in
fighting,
July?
bro.
Yeah.
Okay. Like a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't take a genius to realize how brazen of a lie this is. Aside from his incredibly unconvincing delivery of his excuses, Lee has no history with self-harm and was reported to have been in good spirits in the weeks leading up to this event. Furthermore, Lee becomes visibly anxious here. Most people have a tell that shows when they're lying or feeling uncomfortable. For many, this is crossing their arms or slouching in their chair, but Lee keeps his posture and position fairly consistent throughout the interview. Instead, Lee is prone to subconscious jittery movements in his limbs. Earlier in the interview, while being caught in his first lie,
Bro, this psychology is crazy, bro. Bro, this is like...
he bounced his leg
Next
repeatedly
level.
the entire time. While here, he moves his hand and fingers unnaturally every time he tells a lie. In fact, it's almost comical how perfectly it lines up with the false statements.
I met her in the
Damn.
parking lot at Bonefish
When was this?
Wednesday afternoon.
What happened to your neck?
That was self-inflicted, actually.
What did you use?
A knife.
It's also interesting to note that the detectives almost certainly noticed these marks just seconds into the interview. The decision to mention it now was a conscious one, done to try and build pressure. Lee would likely have anxiety regarding his last big lie about Savannah exiting his vehicle. Catching him so suddenly in a second lie right after will likely amplify these feelings and cause him to feel even more paranoia.
Bro, I like the breakdown. Like, Dr. Insanity, the breakdown in the vids.
As the
Good, it's
detectives
good.
continue, this is also likely why they immediately flip back to talking about the truck right after.
Could you see who the person in the truck was?
The truck had fairly tinted windows. I saw a baseball cap.
Yeah.
See, now he needs some... Now he's making up, like, you know, a story about the details of the truck that was never there.
You see a guy, girl, white, black?
I couldn't really tell if it was a guy or a girl.
Okay.
I just remember seeing the truck drive and her get in.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm sitting in front and the truck drives right past me.
Yeah.
And I saw a baseball cap through the passenger window.
Okay.
But
So did it seem like she knew the person?
I mean, she got right in.
Lee, why didn't you mention this before since we've been looking for this girl? I mean, don't you think that information
I mean,
is important?
it definitely does. And I regret.
That's so... Yeah, that's obvious one. What is the detective saying? Like, why would you hide that? If you've got nothing... If you have nothing to do with her disappearance, why would you withhold this information? Like, that's just weird.
Obviously not saying anything before.
So when I come up and talk to you yesterday, I'm not threatening. I'm just I'm talking to everybody up there. What? Why?
Well, I just, I freaked out, to be honest with you. I mean,
This girl's missing?
yeah.
Freaked out about what? If you're so-called innocent, if you're apparently innocent, what's there to be freaked out about? Like,
Okay, but you know she's been missing. I mean, you had to know.
I mean,
something.
obviously, you know, I was the last one to see her, so
Yeah.
I was a little bit scared at that.
How do you
And-
know you just said you weren't the last one to see her. You just said somebody in a truck.
Well, I mean, the last one to see her.
Dang. That's what I thought. That's what I just thought as well. Because like the person in the apparent person in the green truck picked her up, and he's saying he's the last one. Now he's like last person at Bonefish to try to save himself.
At Bonefish.
Okay.
That the last one she's heard from.
Right.
I had contact with that anybody knows of.
Sure.
The detective knows he's starting to catch Lee on the back foot, so decides to keep the pressure up.
So where's Savannah right now?
Bro, this is like a game of
Where would I
chess.
find her?
I don't know.
That's my prime objective is to find her.
Definitely.
And here's a couple reasons I need to find her. One is I'm hoping that she's still alive. And that's really, I really do, I'm holding out for that. And if she's not alive, then I think she and her family are due that knowledge. I think they need some closure. So where is she?
I don't know where she is.
Where is Savannah?
I don't know.
I need to know where Savannah is so I,
I
can
don't
let
know
her family
where
know.
she is.
You don't know because
The guilt's building up, bro. He's gonna fold.
you had something done with her and you weren't involved in that part? I don't know. Tell me something. What can I work with?
I told you the last time I saw her.
But that's not true because we have proof. We have
Ooh.
proof. And that's why we're sitting here, Lee. At this point, we
dropped
need
it.
this for her.
She
I
dropped
look
it.
at that little girl and I think of my little girl. My little girl who's her age. That's who I think about. That was my little girl. I couldn't imagine. I don't care what she said about you or whatever, but my little girl is that age.
Maybe
And you're not telling the truth.
Maybe something gets out of hand in the car.
I didn't do anything.
Okay, you didn't do
Okay,
anything, but she was
okay.
in your car. She never got out of your car. She never got out of your car.
Confronting
Lee?
him.
This is where the true genius of these detectives start to shine. The initially quiet female detective suddenly starts to speak up. The male detective had a very deadpan, professional demeanor throughout the interrogation, so having that suddenly contrasted by a vulnerable, emotional-looking person being thrust in front of him will likely come as even more of a shock to him, especially as she starts to become more emotive and even starts to beg him.
She never
Yeah, like the contrast were like, you know, like very straightforward, like monotone, and now she's being like very passionate and like empathetic. Well, where is she? You know, I got a daughter as well, blah blah blah, saying this relatable stuff. The contrast is gonna like, bro, it's like a 1-2 punch. This is a 1-2 punch.
gets out of that car and you drive off. She never gets out of that car. There is no green truck, and that's not right to her. We're fact finders, Lee. I don't have anything personal against you.
No, not at all. I mean, it's
We're
over.
just fact finders.
Tell us
We're
what
just
happened.
doing
Where
our
is she?
job. No. Where did you go with her? Where did you go with her, Lee? Be human. You're a human. You're a man. Where did you?
Bro, this is so smart. You just let him lie a whole bunch, and then eventually you just tell him that they know what happens, and then, you know, he's like cornered.
Go with her. I know you're not that cruel inside.
Maybe you
Please.
maybe you don't know where she is now. Where did you go with her?
Please. I'm begging you, Lee. I know you're not an evil person. I don't see that in you.
Bro, they're like, you're not evil, you can do it, you know? Trying to make him feel more vulnerable, and like they're trying to make him feel like, I don't know, not as bad by saying, I know you're not a bad person.
I don't see that in your history. I don't hear those things about you at work. Is she still at your house?
Bro, that's a scary thing, bro. Like, if he's got nothing in his like history, he's got no history of doing this, no criminal history, bro, and just all of a sudden goes and murders someone, bro, that you never know sometimes. Hey, there's always signs though. There's always signs, chat. There's always signs though.
House?
No.
Okay. Is she still in your car?
No.
Okay. Well, then where is she? What was going on in the back seat? For the doors to be kicked open. She kicked open that door 3 times, Lee. She kicked it.
Look at his face, bro.
We
He
saw
knows
it.
he's cooked.
And you know I'm not making it up because I wouldn't know this because I wasn't there unless we had video of it, correct? Yes, correct. I'm not trying to
He just admitted. He just admitted. Oh my god.
trick you. I'm just a fact finder.
I mean, she was upset. She tried to slap me. I slapped her. She went to get out. I grabbed her around her waist and said, "Where are you going?" Where are you
Raps,
headed?"
bro.
She calmed down and we left.
Why would she leave with you?
Well, and then you bloody murdered her. Like, what? Come on, bro. This guy got to
I mean,
tighten
we've
up.
gotten arguments plenty of times where she says she doesn't care what happens or anything like that.
All right. Sometimes people do wrong things, right? Some people make mistakes. It's what you do afterwards. I got a family that needs closure. They
That's
are
facts, bro.
now
It's about what
coming
you
to
do
the
afterwards.
reality that she's no longer with us. You want people to remember you as a guy who said, "Okay, look, I'm going to do the right thing," or do you want your family and everybody else to think that you're some evil, heartless person who won't tell us where she is? I don't think you're that kind of guy. I don't think you're evil. Just tell us where she is.
You know, we know you probably killed her, but we don't think you're evil. This is them trying to soften him up, bro, butter him up, and be like, oh, this is what they think of me, and then, you know, then he will spill all the beans.
Closure for her family.
He's
She
done.
was hitting me. She wouldn't stop, and I squeezed back. I squeezed hard.
What, you squeeze her neck?
You squeezed her around her neck or around her neck?
She just wouldn't let go. I didn't let go.
Oh,
Where
nah,
is she
that's
now?
so bad. Oh my
Please
gosh.
tell us where she is.
You buried
All I
her?
want to do is pond on the west side of the Club du Clay.
Club du Clay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
You're in a pond. Bro, don't ever, ever let yourself get this close. Like, this guy just snapped, bro. But you just gotta walk away sometimes. Just walk away. It's that simple, bro. But some people don't know how to freaking walk away. And then it builds up. And, you know, they just become violent. And example right here of that. He couldn't walk away. Who knows? Maybe that girl was rude to him and treated him bad and that. But that's no excuse for this, bro. You'd have been able to walk away. And who knows, maybe she was lovely and this is just more lies and he just did it because he felt like it. We don't know. But one thing I know is someone should have walked away, bro. And if he's saying this and he got hurt and she was doing this, you should have walked away. You know?
champ.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a few days later, a dive team recovered the remains of Savannah Gold, burned and almost unrecognizable. So much so that her cause of death couldn't even be determined. Lee Rodarte pleaded guilty to the second-degree murder of...
Hold on, what happened to the body?
Just a few days later, a dive team recovered the remains of Savannah Gold, burned and almost
Oh my gosh, he burned the body.
unrecognizable. So much so that her cause of death couldn't even be determined.
Whoa.
Lee Rodarte pleaded guilty to the second-degree murder of
guy's an
Savannah,
imbecile, bro.
and in March of 2021 was sentenced to 40 years behind bars.
40 years, bro? 40 years? That should be a life sentence, shouldn't it? How's that 40 years, bro?
Alright, here we go, guys.
That's insane, bro. R.I.P., bro. That's just bad. But yeah, like, just walk away, bro. And I don't know how many lies. She could have done some bad stuff, whatever. But that's no excuse for what he did. That's disgusting, bro. And to be honest, most of it was probably lies. If he's willing to, this is one thing about people. Even if they're small or big, if they're willing to like lie about something to you, what else are they gonna lie about? You know, that's one thing. That's why honesty is so important. But yeah, bro, let me know what you think about the video. Crazy. The detectives were like, did a really good job here, and yeah, thanks for watching.